Happy Friday night, everybody. Lovely to be here. My name is Em, and I am one of the devs here behind the game ShufflesNScuffles, which is what I will be starting with today. It has been requested in our community Discord server that I give some of the higher levels a shot. So we're gonna try playing some higher difficulties. Oh, hello there, Course. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. How has your day been? I hope you had a good one. But yeah, I figure that it has been a minute since I have played on the higher levels. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you had a good day and you had chicken. Oh, I'm jealous. That sounds good. I will admit, and Alex is probably gonna yell at me for this later, but I haven't eaten yet. I'm gonna do that a little later. And today, I don't think is gonna be as long. The past few times I've streamed, it's been about 5 to 5.5 hours. I don't want to do that today. I can't do that. So I think that I am going to exclusively play ShufflesNScuffles today, take my time with it, and take the opportunity to explain a bit as well as tackle the higher difficulties. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead here and start a brand new run. And I'm going to have to see what difficulty levels I've actually... Of course, Alex yelled at her for not eating. Don't encourage her. Alex worries about me enough. It's all good. I'm fine. Anyways, what was I saying? I don't know if I'm gonna have to play. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna have to play a bit first to actually unlock the levels. I think I'm gonna do that as the mage because that's just what's easiest for me. But yeah, I haven't actually spent time unlocking all the difficulties yet, so I should do that. I should do that. So while I'm going through the easier difficulties, I can kind of give you guys a rundown of what this game actually is. So if you're completely new here and you've never seen this, if you're on Twitch, hello, hi. If you're seeing this on YouTube, hello as well. I hope you're having a great day. But if you've never seen ShufflesNScuffles before, this is, first and foremost, it's a roguelike deck builder. So I'm gonna have cards. Right off the bat, we got a combat here. And if you look at the top of my screen, we've got our map, so to speak. So it's got 7 little nodes. These represent 7 in-game days. And each day is comprised of a morning, an afternoon, and a night. Every night there's combat, so we're starting right off the bat at night. We're going to launch into a combat here. And since I chose the mage, my starting deck will look a little bit different compared to some of the other classes. Largely just catering to the fact that I have more mana. Speaking of which, this is my mana right here. I start with 5 each turn. It does not carry over. So the goal for your mana each turn is you want to use all of it. And the cool thing about our game here is you can give your cards mana in a turn and they will remember it. So like if you're looking at critical mass here, you're probably looking at the cost of 10 mana going, my god, that's ridiculous. How am I ever going to play that? Well, let me tell you. You can right click and give a single mana point to cards, or you can left click to pretty much automatically give all of the mana necessary to play the card or whatever you have available. So in this case, I just went and right clicked the last 3 of my mana points. So now instead of 10 cost, it's 7. And the beauty of it, watch this. I ended my turn, but it's still the same. It's reduced, it remembers, which is really cool and really handy. Yeah, so I still can't play it, and I don't think I will play it this turn anyway. I do kind of want to just use a Radiance to clear this guy out of the way, but now I still have 3 mana and no enemies on the board, so what am I going to do? I'm going to reduce the cost of my cards. It's kind of neat. And then you just kind of go through. So like this, in this case, I'm gonna hit this little Gonglin dude with Radiance. I'm gonna left click there, automatically it takes all the mana it needs. And there we go. Delightful. And then I can go ahead, because that one was already reduced, I can go ahead and use that. So that's kind of how that works. Oh, hi Hero. Lovely to see ya. How's your Friday going? Yeah, and then we've got pixies. Ooh. For the sake of this being a bit more of an instructional video, I am going to put the tooltips back on, at least for a little bit, even though they tend to drive you crazy. Or me anyway, once you kind of know what you're doing. And these are the tooltips. So these are toggleable. You can turn them on, you can turn them off. Once you're comfy with the game, you got an idea of what's going on, you can turn them off. But for right now, we've got a pixie. Heals other enemies every turn. Kind of annoying. On their own, they're fine. They don't heal themselves. Just other enemies. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of take care of the pixie. Be gone. Get crisped. And then one thing that you really want to make sure you do is you do want to use all of the mana at the end of your turn. Like, it doesn't carry over. So if I were to end my turn and I still have all this mana, it's not going to add on to the next turn. It's always completely reset. So that's why you want to make sure you use all of your mana and reduce card costs. Ooh, we've got DC Ranger, or DCJ Ranger, sorry. How's it going? The stream's good. We've been at it for a grand total of 8 minutes so far, so welcome. We're just getting started here. I'm kind of just going through, giving a bit of a in-depth rundown on how the game is actually set up, how it works, you know, just talking a bit about it as we go along. Because my goal for this session here, this stream, I want to start showing off the higher level difficulties. Because usually I kind of just hang out in, you know, the default difficulty. It's been a minute since I've challenged myself. So we're the mage, my go-to class. This will just be a piece of cake once I stop yapping. But yeah, and then Mothman, he's chill, unless you're not chill, in which case then he jumps right on up to the front and starts wailing on you. So I'm gonna need this recover right away. Yeah, and again, we used all of our mana because it's kind of the point. A lot of our cards, because this ties in later, but one of the really cool things about our game, in addition to, you know, the cards remembering the mana that you give them, is you can edit any of these cards. Any card in the game, you can go ahead and customize it. We have a special little place where you can go. It's called the Card Altar. I came up with that way back when. I still think I'm really, really clever for that play on words. But yeah, and that's where you go and you can change your cards, and that in and of itself can drive the cost of the cards up significantly. So depending on how you play it, you want to make sure you use all your mana, is what it circles back to at the end of the day. It just makes sense. There we go. Here's what I was talking about. So here we have the Card Altar. This is where you can change the words, make kind of like, there's a lot of combinations you can do. I don't know how many at this point. It's been a minute since I've checked with the programmers and gone, so how many combinations are actually possible? The answer is certainly a lot. There are a lot of things you can do. Each run is pretty well guaranteed to be different, even if you play it with the same strategy. Never the same way twice. So that's the Card Altar. I'll probably go there in a sec, but working hand in hand with the Card Altar is the Graveyard, which is really cool. This actually started out as a bit of a bug, but what it does, you bury a card after 2 turns, it reduces its cost. So each turn it sits in the graveyard reduces its cost by 1 for a maximum of a reduction of 2. And then when you have a card in there, there is a subtle little sign, a little indication that there's something there. We have a little flower that pops up and it starts to bloom, and that's how you know that you've got a card there in the graveyard. Once the flower has completely bloomed, you know your card is done cooking, and you can go ahead and exhume it, and it gets added back into your deck at that reduced cost. And then here we have the Carnival, which is where you can thin your deck out. It's, you always lose at the circus. Oh my gosh, okay, Hero, last time you calculated there were around 20... Oh my god, is that 200,000 or 20,000 combinations that are possible? That's nuts. Yeah, no, that just goes to show that, like I said, there's no way you could ever play the game exactly the same way twice. It just is not possible, but the options are endless, and you can make some silly cards, and there are definitely some builds that are a little on the broken side. Very effective. And then there's on, the flip side, there's the builds that don't make a hell of a lot of sense. And one thing that you do have to be careful of when you go to the card altar is you have to be very careful to put the words where they're supposed to go. Like, they have to make sense. You can't have a nonsense card. I mean, you can. It'll blow up in your hand when you try to play it, and it won't work, so don't do it. That's the kind of thing where when you do it once and you don't do it again. So if you do accidentally do that, it's not the end of the world. It happens. We've all been there. We've all made a nonsense silly card. I certainly have. So I guess to kind of illustrate the points that I'm making here, this is the card altar. This is what it looks like. And... oh, Hero, too many zeros? That's okay. That's okay. We'll give you a sec to math it out. 20,000. Okay. That's still ridiculous. Like, that is a lot of possible combinations for any given card. It's kind of nuts. But anyways, here's the card altar. You can scroll up on your mouse to kind of get a better look at the table. And each time you show up here, these words are randomized. The words and numbers are always random, so you never really know what you're gonna get. And each of these words corresponds to a little slot here. So like the red words have to go in the red square. It doesn't do anything if they're over here. It kind of blinks to remind you. Hero, you suck at counting zeros. That's okay. That's okay. No judgment here. This is the home of the 2 brain cells. One can math, one can English. Zero judgment. Anyways. So yeah, so the words here correspond to specific, colored little slots. You can't put them anywhere else. It blinks and reminds you, and they kind of just slot in, which is kind of nice. And yeah, so you can pretty well do any of these, and you just have to, you pick a card, something that you want to tweak. So I'm going to take Magic Missile because I love Scatter. Scatter is great. And I'm going to do something silly like 5 damage to 3 grids. And see, the cost is 8, which is a little expensive, especially for early game, but I love it. And so when you're done playing with this, you've decided on your words, you think you're happy with your card, you just go ahead and give it a click. You hear that lovely little twinkling sound letting you know that it is done. Bitter Yeet, a name is automatically generated, same with the card art, and you just left click again to add it to your deck. Hero, making an unstable card is sometimes useful for destroying cards in your deck. That is true. That is true. That is one way to go about it. If you're not sure you're going to come up on a carnival in time, you can go to the card altar, make an unstable card or a card that is not viable. And yeah, once you play it, it blows up and it's never in your hand again. So that could be a strategy for sure. I could see that. So in addition to the card altar here, I talked a bit briefly about the carnival. That's where you remove cards from your deck. And to go along with that, we have the card shop, which is where you can add cards to your deck. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. None of these are particularly interesting. So this is like where all of the default cards come in. We do have another little spot on the map where you can go to get cards. It's called the Black Market. When that shows up, I'll make a point to go there because you can get some goofy stuff there. It's basically another shop, but that's where you get the bootleg cards. So that's where the ones that have already kind of been tinkered and thrown together, and they're usually weird, some varying degrees of useful. But these ones at the card shop are all pretty much the default vanilla cards that are available. I'm gonna go ahead and take Shove. And so that kind of ties into my day-night cycle. So each day I mentioned briefly how each little spot here is comprised of 3 cycles. So you have the morning, you go to one shop, you have the evening, you can go to another, and then nighttime, always combat. Rangers, the Sprinkle's still a card you can get. Oh yeah, you can still get Sprinkles. The naming is completely random, so I never really know when I'm gonna get a nice little Sprinkle card, but I have found a couple. I have found a couple for sure. They're around. Nice. And then yeah, so the tooltips, they're kind of all over the place. You can use them for figuring out what a card does. So like here it says scatter, it applies randomly, and then grid, it targets all the tiles. Hero, do I like Caboodle? I do. Caboodle makes me giggle each time. Like, it's just such a funny word, especially if you have like a devastating card and it names itself something goofy like soft Caboodle. It's like, what do you mean? It can get goofy. The automatically, like, the generated names can get silly. Oh, and then here's the card I made. So it's the expensive one, of course, but scatter 5 damage to 3 grids. It's a little nuts early game. It's a little excessive, not gonna lie, but I don't know. It makes my brain go burr. Like, just when there's more enemies and you just sprinkle, oh, it's so good. It's so good. Scatter and scattering damage to the grid and to multiple grids. Little secret tip. It's extremely overpowered right now. I can't remember if we're planning on, you know, kind of nerfing that a bit or if it's just kind of gonna be the way it is, but yeah. Scattering to multiple grids is definitely an effective strategy. I'm gonna get hurt. Push! Get back. Personal space, please. Excellent. There we go. And yeah, you can get different cards to do different things. So not all of them are strictly damage cards. Like you can knock back or sideswipe. Those are the cards that play with enemy positions. So knockback scoots them backwards. Sideswipe scoots them over to either the left or the right. And depending on positioning, like if there's an enemy, for example, behind the one you're trying to shove, it might go on a diagonal instead. Like it'll try to do the thing, but if it can't, then they just kind of wiggle at you and go, no, can't move me. I will try to demonstrate that briefly in a bit. Get rid of the pixie first and foremost. No heals for you, Gonglin. Yeah, and then if tooltips are on, you can kind of see what they do. So this is a Gonglin, and they attack players at the front row. All of the enemies attack once they reach the front row here. So that's what we got to be careful for. So usually I'll try to do as much damage as possible while they're still back and, you know, approaching. Kinda like, you know, a Plants vs. Zombies deal. It's like, you know, the wave defense, I guess. Except the only thing we're defending is ourselves. go. Get rid of you. Excellent. And unfortunately, we can't do overheal, or not over, well, yeah, that's true. We can't overheal. So if my max health right now is 10, I can't ever go over it. And I can't do over damage either, which would be interesting. But for now, that's not something we have. Of course, you like the wiggle. They're just so cute. Okay, and then here we've got Hivehead, which is a neat little guy. He spawns little enemies every time you hit him. So it can get crazy quick if you're not efficient. But good thing I have my scatter 5 damage to 3 grids. Ain't nothing surviving that. There we go. Alrighty. I did speak a bit about the black market. Ooh, yawn, sorry. So to kind of show the difference between the card shop and the black market, both of them serve to add to your deck. So this is where you do the deck building part. And see, sprinkle, there we go, hot sprinkle. Scatter 7 burning to the player. Now you're probably looking at that going, why the hell would I want a card that does damage to myself? Valid question. That's the black market for you. Some of these cards are gonna be ridiculous, and by some I usually mean all of them. They're kind of jank. Some of their price, like either the cost is ridiculous, what the card actually does can be goofy. So usually it's a great idea to bring these straight to a card altar. Otherwise you risk doing damage to yourself or doing a silly amount of damage to a silly amount of lanes, and it's just silly. But you can edit these. You can always edit them. So I think I'm going to take Hot Sprinkle simply because of the joy of finding a card titled Sprinkle. Usually makes me happy because that indicates scatter. So card naming is loosely tied to, you know, the words. So like scatter, you get sprinkle. There's usually a trend in the kind of names that get generated, and you figure it out every once in a while. Hero, you kind of want to try Hot Sprinkle? I mean, I could give it a go. I can do that if we really want. Otherwise, I might try and edit it. What are my words? So before I pick a card, generally speaking, like I like to sort, well, first of all, I like to sort my words. I am definitely a bit of a weirdo in that sense. But I like to just kind of see what I have to work with. And then from there, once I have an idea, I can look at my cards and be like, okay, yeah, I can change this one. So for example, Fireball. I don't want Fireball. I like Scatter. So I'm going to take Scatter. And then I'm not a massive fan of Circle. I much rather play with grids. And yeah, hold on. Is burning or any, like when you're here, you could play around. There's no time limit or anything. You can be messing around with a card for as long as you want in here, just kind of seeing, you know, like what's cheaper. So like for example, burning is more expensive than damage. It jacks the cost up 1 extra. For the sake of comparison, deal is generally more expensive than scatter, and like there's things that you could play with and figure out. And it can get interesting. I think I do want to keep burning though. I think that would be neat. And you can always re-edit a card, not in the same, so like once I click this with, like if I left click it, it's locked in. I can't really change it after that, but in subsequent visits to the card altar, you can change an already changed card. So there's a lot of flexibility here. You're not ever really locked into any one thing, which is kind of nice. You can always pivot. Toasty Rain. Let's go. There we go. Start working on that. Apply 3 burning and immediately demolish him. Love that for me. Very good. Yeah, I'm kind of... if I see more opportunities to explain, I will definitely do so. I kind of just want to rip through this. I didn't use all my mana. That's okay. I want to get to the higher difficulties, and in order to do that, I kind of just have to... not speed run, but speed run. Ow. Okay. Oh. Didn't mean to use shove there, but that's okay. Now I can shove him back. Beautiful. But yeah, so as a new player, like, there is a bit of a learning curve. For example, when I started playing this, it took me maybe like an hour and a half to do a run, which is like 3 bosses, because this is divided up into an act system, so it's a 3-act play. And, you know, each act, if we looked at the map here, you've got the 7 days, which I've already covered. So a full run is doing 3 acts, finishing 3 bosses, and that used to take me forever. And, you know, trying to get through the game and everything, it was a struggle for me. But once you get the hang of it, like, once you learn the mechanics, it's really freaking fun. And I think I've mentioned it a couple of times before, how I am extremely inexperienced when it comes to the world of roguelike deck builders. Before we started working on this, I hadn't so much as touched one. So this was really my first experience with a roguelike deck builder, and I definitely think this is what helped make me enjoy the genre. So if you're, you know, a roguelike connoisseur, you know what you're doing, I think you'll like this. I do think you'll still find enjoyment out of it, just because there are so many different ways to play, and we'll have all kinds of unlockables. So, like, we're gonna have different classes and different difficulties. Some difficulties are gonna be class specific. Like, we're getting a little silly with it. And yeah, I think there's something for everybody in here, especially for anybody who hasn't played these kind of games before, like myself. You can definitely use this to kind of dip your toe into the world of roguelike deck builders, and I have a feeling you might enjoy it. So there you go. This is overkill. All that damage just for 1B, that's silly, but I regret nothing. There we go. What else can I do here? Probably gonna alter. Now, I remember when I first started out, like, because there's all kinds of different ways to play. There's not really a right way or a wrong way to play in terms of, like, deck size. Some of the classes benefit from having a smaller deck, some of them it really doesn't matter. And I know when I first started playing, like, we came up with the M strategy. And that was because I would constantly hoard every card that I came across. I was like, I want this, this will be useful later type thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So depending on what class you decide you like best, there's going to be different ways to build your deck in terms of size, in addition to the kinds of cards you have. So there's lots of things to consider. Like, there's definitely an element of strategy to this game as well. Because some things you find out real quick just don't work, in which case you're not going to get very far in the run. And you can take that knowledge forward and, you know, change things up for the next run. And it's kind of fun. Do I have a scatter card I can change? I do. I'm gonna do something silly here, because there's another mechanic that we have that's kinda neat when it comes to mana. Oh, of course, it's a fun game. You can't wait to get the full version. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Why, guy, apparently we're not supposed to be shopaholics. Well, sometimes you can. Sometimes you can. There's definitely, you know, I'm sure there are some upsides to, you know, constantly shopping. But, as I was saying, cool mechanic about mana is, I had this card, which is, it was scatter mana to your cards in your deck, which is definitely one way to get around the mana limit per turn, because like I kind of mentioned, you get a certain amount of mana each turn, and this varies from class to class. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. You know it, why guys, the hold my mana mechanic. But yeah, so in addition to giving mana to your cards using a card, you can also give mana to enemies, and that sounds a bit silly, but it really is kind of cool, because I've mentioned it a couple times in past streams, but in case you haven't heard, enemies can kind of turn into little mana piggy banks, and it can get ridiculous, and it is such a goddamn delight, because, so like in this case, I would be scattering 2 mana to 2 enemies on the board. It would be random, sure, but that's 4 mana hanging out on the board in addition to whatever I get per turn anyway. So like, let's say in this case, you know, I've got the 5 mana per turn, an extra 4, that gives me 9. I can just keep going through cards in my hand and just use more per turn, and it's really great, especially when you get, you know, a bit further along, you've customized some cards, got them doing cool things, and if the cards are more expensive, it stops being a problem if you use mana to enemies. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this because I would love to show you what that looks like. Divine Burst, let's go. And how many cards do I have? I don't think I'm like, it's about where I want to be. This is a good deck size for me. So we're gonna go ahead. Again, I like to sort my words, so bear with me for a moment while I organize. Yeah, and all the words do different things, which is kind of neat. So like backfire, if my tool tips will work, which I don't think they will. I can show you guys in a second though, but we're gonna take critical mass. No, that's not what I wanted to do. That's fine, it's fine, this is great. But if you use backfire, backfire applies the effect, then takes half as self-damage. So for example, dealing 8 damage to the grid, I'd be doing 4 damage to myself. There's a place, time and place for that word. I'm personally not the biggest fan of it, but you can definitely do some crazy things with some of these words. Like for example, draw, you can take mana from enemies. So that, hey, that actually could be interesting. But that, you'd have to have mana already given to the enemies. Like you can't just draw mana from naturally spawning enemies. They don't inherently have any mana. So that sucks, but you can draw health. So if you were thinking of maybe making something along the lines of a blood mage build, it's entirely possible, and it is actually tons of fun. Using draw or surge is the other good word for that. I think I'm going to stick with deal this time around. Keep doing damage to the grid, but I might do a little less. Let's do 5 to 3. Ooh, actually, no. I'm gonna get silly with it and do deal mana. Hell yeah. Silent risk. Beautiful. Things are gonna get silly. Where is it? Here it is. I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. So this will give this guy 15 mana. Bonk. There you go. So when an enemy is holding mana for you, they kind of glow. You've got this pretty little, you know, particle effects that indicate that this one's special. And in order to get that mana back, all you have to do is kill him. So it's a little violent, but Look at this, look at this. Oh, I can't actually kill him in this turn. Hold on. Please hold. Reassessing. But there you go. Now I have a lot of mana. A devastating amount of mana. And I can throw that on everything and just completely reduce my hand. And if you have more of the cards that act as draw cards, so like draw more cards into your hand, you can just keep cycling through and just make everything really, really cheap. So that's a good strategy. The only kicker though is you have to directly be responsible for the enemy's death in order to get the mana in any significant way. So if you launch an enemy, you're not technically killing them, they are getting launched, and I don't think the mana comes back to you. If the boss kills an enemy, you don't get that mana. And then if they die to like a status effect, so like this guy's on fire, if he had mana, and he died to burn damage at the end of his turn, I wouldn't get that mana back. Well, I mean, I would, but the turn would reset anyway, and so it doesn't carry over. So you definitely want to make sure that you are the one responsible for the enemy's death in order to see that mana back. That being said, there we go, and I have a whole bunch of mana again. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe the status effects do work differently now. Maybe I lied. It's entirely possible. Oh, hell yeah. We're gonna have so much mana. Go. 19. And then if I do something silly like that, we have 41! We got mana for days! So, yeah, it's definitely slightly overpowered. It's definitely worth playing around with mana and the capabilities surrounding that. It can be fun. And then boom, just get all the mana back right after. Well, in a moment anyway. There we go. So maybe you do get the mana back. Yeah, I think you do. That's kind of neat. It didn't used to be that way. I wonder how much mana I can actually get from you. 41 again. Yeah, that's a delight. Oops. Awesome. Now, what can I throw in here just to kind of show how this works? Oh, hot sprinkle. Perfect. I'm not going to be using this. I should honestly edit that next time I have the opportunity. But yeah, so for here, this is the graveyard. You know, rest in peace. You got your piles of dirt. I can't play with it yet. But you just select a card. It goes down for little dirt nap. You can click the dirt if you really want. And it just hangs out. So now we've got a little sprout here, and that just indicates that something was just put in there. When we check back in a little bit later, it should have grown a bit, which is the indication that, yep, it has spent a turn in the graveyard. It'll be reduced by 1, and then after that, it'll be reduced to 2, and we'll have a cute little flower, and that's how we know that our card is done cooking. I don't want any of these. Delightful. Yeah, the more mana you have to play with, the easier things will be for sure. There we go. And then I just no cost, basically. Here, what is my mana cost record? Oh, jeez. That is a great question. I don't think I know off the top of my head. I know way back when I used to stream, just in our community Discord server before I moved to YouTube, I know I had a pretty decent run. And I almost want to say I made it to the triple digits, but I don't remember exactly. Beautiful. It's just so easy. And then heal, because I can. There we go. Oh, okay, wait a minute. I'm acting before I'm thinking, and this is my constant downfall, but it's not too bad right now. But what do I want to do? What do I have here? Do I have draw? I don't. Okay. So reasonably, like, these numbers are a little on the higher side. A little higher than I would like. What can I change here? Yeah, I'm not sure which card. I had a plan, but the plan is gone. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't really like. Maybe I'll tweak the recover to be 7. Like, that's silly expensive right now. And it's like, well, it's 70% of my health. Why guy having triple digits just sounds crazy. Like, I think card cost can't even reach that high. I don't think they can. But your mana counter sure can. Like, that one, like, I know in testing too, like, Silas, one of our devs, has gotten ridiculous numbers as well. It's certainly possible. Is there an upside to having a ridiculous amount of mana other than, you know, what I sort of showed? Like, no. Other than bragging rights, I suppose. Yeah, after a certain point, it's just for the giggles. It's not like constantly having super high mana actually does anything, because you're limited to the cards in your hand, and if you have the ability to draw cards, because once you're through the cards in your hand, unless you have draw more cards, you're not really going to get very far. So it's really just for the flex after a certain point. Okay. Why guy, you think the maximum card cost is 22, so unless you have some draw cards, just constantly cast the same. Yeah, exactly. You could absolutely nuke a boss. That is 100% accurate, I would say. If you have that much mana, it's... Ooh. I'll take that one. Yeah, you could definitely get silly with the bosses and make short work of them. I know I certainly have in the past, depending on the kind of cards you get. Like, scattering to the grid, if the cost is up there, but you have all this mana, like, ain't nobody standing a chance. Like, there's just no way. Do a little bit of that. Delightful. Soft Fate. I don't need healing right now. Sure. Like, we don't need this much mana by any stretch, but it's kind of amusing. We have 49. That's, I think, our best for today. Why, guy, the amount of setup to have a deck that can have large mana without worrying about randomness would take a lot of setup and strategy. You are 100% right. A lot of brain power would have to go into figuring that one out, because it would definitely be like a precision operation at that point. There we go. 49, I think. We'll try to keep an eye on that. We'll see if we can get a new ridiculous mana high score here today. Scattered grid, why not? Ow. Ooh, Stumpy! Haven't seen you in a while. This guy's particularly weak to fire. Ooh, of course, you had mana in the 70s and felt like a boss until the next turn and then felt robbed, but it was worth it for the screenshot. 100%. And yeah, it can be absolutely devastating when it's like you're at the end of your turn, you have all this mana, there's nothing you can do, and it doesn't carry over. It's like, oh, part of me has wished in the past that, like, you know, mana should carry over, but that would definitely be game breaking. So we understand the decision, even though we don't like it. Oh god. Okay, but he's gonna hurt me a bit here. Oh, never mind. Scatter 5 mana to 3 rows? Sure. So they're gonna have 30 each. Wonder how silly can I make it? Because these guys will just hang out. Scatter mana. Scatter mana. I wonder how silly we can go. After I do this little experiment, then I'll get back to playing through. But I need to know. Aw, damn it. Okay, I have to damage them. I'm sorry. That is unfortunate. Okay, do I have my healing card? No, of course not. That'd be too convenient. Oh boy. Okay, I may have screwed myself over here. Why, guy, a neat experiment could be to make a class that has mana carryover but some sort of downside. That could be interesting. Like a reverse astronomer? Yeah, I could see that being kind of cool. Hey, 68! Temporary high score. I don't... That was the most useless thing I could have done. But, I don't know. Now I just need to heal. I guess card alter. Ah, good, I can make another healing card. It'll be an expensive one, but I can do it. Can I draw healing? Hell yeah. Alright, let's see. I don't really want Surge. Surge definitely has its place, but I don't want it right now. Surge 3 healing from... oh. 5 healing from one enemy? 3 healing from an enemy? Yeah, okay, that's reasonable. Let's take that. Take that and run with it. Nice stack. Oh god. There we go! Look, my graveyard has its beautiful little flower that has bloomed, so this card is ready to be exhumed. Just in time for the boss fight, so that's beautiful. Now, scattering mana to enemies is great, but I kinda mentioned already that it's a little risky to do that during a boss fight, because the boss has got his little slammies. His hands do slam down, and if an enemy happens to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time, they do get smushed. And if at least the last time I played, I think. If an enemy gets smushed, you don't get the mana back. Because you did not kill them. Why do I have this card? This card is useless. Scatter to the... No, I thought it was going to be useful. Okay, hold on. We have to big brain this. Excellent. We're fine. Ah! Yay for cheap hot sprinkle. I suppose. It's useless though. I don't want to use it. 7 burning to the player. That's like a nice little suicide card. So if ever I want to end this run particularly early, like I can do that. Wait a minute. Oh, draw 3. Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. I thought I was getting shortchanged. Oh dear. Ow! I'm not playing particularly intelligently. Never mind, we're okay. That was fine. Draw 3 healing. Beautiful. I can't shove the boss head, unfortunately. Ooh, why guy? An even more epic challenge would be to start a combat with 20 to 50 mana, but no way to gain any more mana for the rest of the combat. So instead of finding ways to get more mana, you're trying to figure out how to conserve your big mana pool. Ah, that could definitely be an interesting way to play. I could see that being a nice challenge. Beautiful. Boss done. On we go. Let's check out the black market, see if there's anything interesting here. I'll take that one, I suppose. Okay, well we're just gonna start adding to the deck at this point. I'll thin it out shortly. I'll show you guys the carnival. The vibe has changed. We're in the swamp now. I gotta get this Skeeto before he gets me, because that will suck. Scatter all the mana. We're gonna get back to that. Beautiful. Okay, so things are a little spooky. Where's my scatter? This one. I need this card. But this is 2, 4, 6. Okay, that's scary. That's scary, that's scary, that's scary. No. And they heal. Damn it. Okay, I may have screwed myself over a bit here. I don't know if there's gonna be a nice way to get through this. I really don't think that's gonna help very much. No. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright. Too many bugs. There are more bugs here than in a game jam. Oh my goodness. Honestly, unfortunately, you're not wrong. But I have to keep going. Oh, interesting. That's not supposed to happen. I think I found a small bug because I hit restart and it kept me in the same biome. So that is a problem. That's not supposed to happen. That's another bug. That's a different kind of bug. We have both here. We're working them out, slowly but surely. Oh shoot, that was a waste of magic missile. Yeah, my goal earlier... Oh, for a second, you thought I was save scumming? No, I'm not, I swear. I just hit restart and it got confused. Honestly, me too. Sir. There we go. Beautiful. Excellent. Yeah, so I'm pretty much just going to be trying to rip through this. Because I really want to try to get to a higher difficulty for you guys. So that I can kind of give some gameplay there. Oh god. Oh god. So this is the carnival for anybody who's been waiting to see it. I picked the worst time to go. My deck is already kind of pathetic and small, and it is my starter deck, and apparently the carnival wants to take half of it. So... spooky. That's unfortunate. That kind of sucks. I'll take a Radiance. It happens. The carnival is random, so you spin the wheel each time, and you never really know how many cards you're gonna have to give up. That's kind of part of the fun of it. It can definitely be stressful, especially if you have like a small deck to begin with, or if you're really happy with your deck. Like it can be risky going to the carnival. But it's the best way to clear out some crappy cards, so it has its pros and cons for sure. Not these guys again. Beautiful. Awesome, awesome. But yeah, no, sorry. I just kind of want to be ripping through this. I can't maintain a thought right now. I might, because I am, like I mentioned earlier, I am not sticking around for 5 hours today. I don't have the availability. I do have a bit of a time crunch today. So I don't know, based off of how I've been playing so far, if I will actually be able to show off higher difficulties, because before I didn't have them unlocked. I think I wiped all my progress a little while ago just to kind of start completely fresh, and that means I don't have all the difficulties unlocked, so I might have to spend a little bit of time behind the scenes and, you know, actually unlock and get that far. But we'll see how far we get today. Because, I mean, things aren't going horribly right now. Radiance on nobody, Radiance on nobody. Yeah, my deck is just sad, so let's try to... Ooh! I might take this one. Surge is kind of OP for healing. It really makes a lot of sense, because the way Surge as a keyword works is... how do I explain it? So, you have your base number. So in this case, it will be 1. So Surge 1 healing. Add the last damage taken to effect amount, resets on heal. So basically, let's say an enemy hits me for 3. This becomes Surge 4 healing to the player, which is really useful. So I'm pleased about that. Okay, I do have Scatta, which is exciting. I do like that. What can I change? I'll change one of my Radiance cards. So split to Scatter. Damage is fine. We're gonna do it to the grid. And that seems perfect. Cruel Yeet. Let's go. Excellent. I do need to heal. Bonk. I didn't need to heal. I didn't need to heal. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, that was convenient. I'll get ready. Nope, never mind. There's nobody else here. Ooh. Deal freezing to an enemy. I'll play with that. See what that does. Should just keep them still for a moment, which would be honestly very helpful here in the swamp, especially where, you know, little mud men just spawn wherever the hell they feel like. I'll take a wisdom card as well. Why not? Inspiration. Oh, neat. I guess I took damage and I hadn't healed, so it carries over. It resets on heal, yeah, which is incredibly convenient, so you don't have to use it right away, which is quite nice. Overkill, definitely. Love it. Stay put. Ooh. Radiance. I'm pretty much just trying to clean up the grid as fast as I can. Ooh, we've got Monaco. Hey, how's it going? Happy Friday. Unfortunately, I'm not playing at a high difficulty yet. I have to unlock those difficulties myself, it seems, so might not be the most informative for you, but that's okay. I was mentioning earlier that I think I might have to go through and play a bit more kind of on my own time to actually unlock the higher difficulties, because I had to do a little file wipe and that took away all my progress a little while ago, so I haven't actually unlocked higher difficulties yet, which is embarrassing because I'm one of the devs ish. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, I definitely, like, depending on which class you're playing, I personally love doing damage to multiple grids. It can get expensive, but definitely a good way to go. Monaco, you unlocked all the features with the wizard? Yeah, the wizard's what I'm playing, or the mage, I suppose. The mage is my favorite. But yeah, the mage is definitely an OP class. I would definitely agree there. The other ones are fun. They have their own little quirks and such, and working around them can be a fun little challenge. The mage is just silly for doing big amounts of damage. None of these are particularly interesting, so I think I'm just gonna take this one for the scatter keyword. Immediately gonna tweak it. Please hold while I organize. Draw, deal, player, row, grid. Alrighty, so we're gonna scatter it to multiple grids. Why not? Let's go! I think I might have to— oh, he's gonna die. That's great. I might have to visit the carnival again. I think there are some cards that I don't necessarily need, like Wisdom is great, and I already went on my spiel about mana and how great it is. And normally I'd be all for getting as much mana as possible. But in this case, I think I'm okay. Monaco, burn damage is also OP. Scatter 1 on 10 on grid. Yeah. Burn damage is ridiculous. It's definitely a good strategy. It could very easily be a like real quick way to whittle down a boss. Hero scatter on the grid is OP. Yep, it 100% is. I love it. I love it to bits. It makes me so happy. We're gonna do that. Get rid of those guys because they suck. I don't like the slimes. They drive me crazy. Freeze Mudman. Just hang out for a minute. Normally, I try to use all of my mana. I will never stop mentioning that. Do try to use all of your mana in a turn. Because it doesn't carry over, and usually there's lots you can do with it, even if you're just allocating it to a card preemptively. Always a good way to go. Boom. Nice. Do it again, because that's just, it's the easiest way to just cruise through a battle. Like, scattering to the multiple grids is expensive, but so worth it. Alrighty, I don't really want to keep using the freezing cards. Like, they're cool, but I don't want them. I will, however, take these. Why not? Bonk. A little extra mana, do that. Yeah, and when your deck is small enough... Oi! Thanks, hero. My hero in the chat, keeping all the pests out. I appreciate. I completely forgot what I was gonna say, though. That's unfortunate. Why, guy? That's the perfect reaction. Oh, that's the best emote. Freaking sniped him. There we go. Amazing. Let's just get ready with this one. Beautiful. I still got hurt, but that's okay. Only for one. That's not terrible. Not terrible at all. What was the other freezing card that I didn't want? Or did I change that? I think I changed it, so that's good. My deck size isn't massive, but I still think I'm gonna go to the carnival. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna get rid of my other healing card. This is ballsy, but we'll see if it pays off. Yeah, same as Monaco, backfire on knockback, no downside and cheaper. Yeah, like playing with the words and seeing what you can use to get cheaper cards, like it's delightful. Hero, you agree? Awesome. Yeah, no, it's definitely worth playing around with different words and seeing how the synergies work. Because yeah, you can essentially get a card that is worded differently but does the same thing and it'll be cheaper, and it just makes the most sense. Deal 3 mana to the player. Okay, now I have to figure out what I want to get rid of. I guess draw. If my deck is going to be this small anyway, I'm not really going to need to draw anything. Guess I'll pick freezing back up, even though I don't want it. Oh yeah, I'm definitely not supposed to be here. I was supposed to reset. I'm not mad. I do prefer the slime boss. Slime boss definitely has the best music, I think. Our castle music is not publicly available yet, but I'm very excited for it. We're in the works. And I think it's a good runner-up to the Slime Rave. There we go. Woo, hiccups. Oh dear. Ah. Boom. Down to 5. See, it just gets silly. Why, guy? Good carnival and slime rave, you got it. We love to see it. And there we go. Boss down. Excellent. And this is, again, not where I'm supposed to be, but that's okay. I wonder if it counts. I wonder if this will count towards me unlocking other difficulties. I'll have to check in a bit. I guess let's go to the black market. I don't think I've done that yet this run. Deal 6 to 3. That's not bad. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. Hands down, this is the best music for pun intended, I'm assuming. Hands down. That's cheeky. But yeah, no, I think I agree. The slime rave is a work of art. Completely agree. Hey, it's Man Cow. May as well just freeze you in place for a bit. Just hang out. Hey, we're just breezing right on through. What was I gonna do? Wisdom? Let's put it on Radiance. Didn't even stand a chance. Excellent. I'm gonna just do that again, honestly. Bonk. Whee! I love scatter. Monaco, a lot of the features you don't know, they're not in the demo. That is correct. So the version that I'm playing right now is different from the demo. So this is our development build. So this is everything that we've been working on. So this is like, you know, you're getting some sneak peeks here. A lot of this will be, you know, launched in the full version. Poison on the Man Cow is good. And yes, Man Cow has made an appearance. We're all very pleased about it. He's cool. There we go. Goes back to the black market for fun. Deal 2 burning to 3 rows, split 8 launch. Yeah, I'll just take the expensive one for the scatter. There we go. What can we do instead? Scatter burning. 2 grids! We don't really want to 7 though. It's gonna get silly. I'll just leave it to 1 grid, that's good enough. Oh, you're so glad that we have Man Cow here. Maybe someday there could be a ram and we could have the Leap Trio. Aww. But this is a great duo. I agree. I agree. It's a great start. Alrighty, let's rip right on through. Sorry, Man Cow, you're gonna get a little toasty. We gotta get tooltips. They're fixed! Excellent! Minotaur charges until deterred. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I'm just gonna freeze you there. And then do that. Beautiful. Nice. Freezies. Amazing. Amazing. Bonk. Bone pile is immediately demolished as well. Nailing it. I'm gonna take a preserve, see how that works. I am getting up there in my cards though, so I don't really want to add too much more. I guess I could get rid of Radiance. Hopefully it doesn't take my deck. Okay, good. Alrighty, let's see. What can I do? Amazing. Preserve this one. So this should stay in my hand instead of getting scooted out now, which is convenient if you want to hold on to a card. Because every once in a while you have a card that you're chipping away at, like this one. So it's obviously still expensive. I can keep allocating mana to it, and it's not going to run away because I preserved it. It's not going to get shuffled out until you use it, obviously. Hey! I selected- oh, I can't target the bat. I was sitting here ready to be like, bug! But it's not a bug. The bat, you can't hit the bat. He's in the air. It makes sense. Now he's fair game though. Let me just stay right there. Damn it. Excellent. Onwards. We're just ripping right along. I did not want to be here. I did not think again. Oh shoot, okay. Ah! Oh, come on. No, no. Okay, so I'm out of inspiration. I'm all out of faith. I'm so lost without you. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. It's fine. I think it'll be fine. Maybe. Oh! He's got shields! Damn! Okay, so I guess every other turn the ghost is shielded. This is irksome. Sir, I need you to die a little bit. Ow. Faith, that brings me 5. Scatterburning to the grid, I guess. Ow, you guys need to chill. I'm gonna die. No! This is it? Shit. No, I'm not gonna be able to get past this. I'm gonna get murdered. This is murder. Yep. Damn it. New shield effects, let's go. Yeah, that looked really good. I definitely loved the way that looked. I don't think I had seen that before. So like this build was made for me today. So everything is, I guess, the most recent, which is kind of neat. But again, yeah, just to reiterate, this is not what the demo looks like. Not right now anyway. We're still gonna, I think in the coming weeks, we're gonna be tweaking the demo just to, you know, either cinch what is actually in there in terms of content, just kind of cut it down a bit, make it a bit more concise. And then we're getting ready to launch as well, so that's exciting. But yeah, I think I am gonna end it here-ish, unless there's any like questions or anything that I can answer, because I am running short on time. And I don't think I'm gonna be beaten much. If I restart, do I stay in castle? I mean, let's find out. That I can check, and the answer is yes. The answer is definitely yes here. So that might be a bit broken, because restarting is not supposed to keep you in the act environment that you're supposed to be restarting. This is not meant to be Act 1, right? So this is Week 1, the Act 1, and that is incorrect. The castle is the third act. But, as I was saying, I think I am gonna leave it here. I think maybe over the weekend, I'll try to get through and make some progress here, so that I can play on the higher difficulties and show those off as well, because it can get kind of neat. Like, the grid expands, the enemies get tougher, it's a good time. So, yeah, when am I playing next? I think Monday's a holiday, so I might move the next stream to Tuesday. Keep it at the same time, 7 p.m. And then, yeah, I'll start with Shuffles and Scuffles again before moving on to something else. But for right now, I think I'm gonna end it off here. That was Shuffles and Scuffles. This is the game me and my team are working on. If you are watching this and you've never seen it before and you like what you see, make sure to head on over to Steam. Add it to your wish list. We're launching in just a couple of weeks, so we're really in the final stages of ironing things out. So if you want to be, you know, one of the first to get the game, add it to your wish list. You'll get notified when we launch. Feel free to join our Discord as well. We have a bunch of great people in there. I think you can join through the game, so if you play the demo, there's a link there. Otherwise, I think one of my mods here might be able to drop a link. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I know it's a day early, but there you go. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great night.